real generic demon. And this is What's on the Tape Season 7, Volume 1. It's the start of a new season. Another 10 weeks of unknown tapes to be tested in the specky. Now, this one is an interesting one. This one came from and it literally arrived yesterday, so it's even more exciting. This came from my friend Dave plays Retrogames badly, Birdsall. He's another fellow YouTuber, loves the Spectrum, so I'm expecting this to be full of his favourite Spectrum mascot, of course, Dizzy, his favourite. So he's definitely going to be on here, I'm sure. No, I don't know, actually, to be fair. It's completely blank. It's completely unknown. It's a great way to start. It's 90 minutes. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a two-parter, depending on whether there's more on the other side. I have tested it. We've got Spectrum noises. I don't know if there's anything else on it, though. No idea if it's going to work or not. So we're going to go with side A, and we'll see how it go, actually. We might just do side B, but we'll see. If we're still running it a couple hours, we may call it a day there. But without further ado, let's get season 7 started, and let's pop this into a tape drive. Right, we're here. We're ready for it. So let's go for the old usual, the load speech mark to load what's on the tape. And let's give it a try. So we're on side A here. Hopefully, I know those specky sounds on it. Hopefully we'll get a first time load, especially as we're starting on season 7 here. So it was half rewound when I got it. So my bugbear, the usual thing, where it's half rewound. But this time, I'm hoping for goodness. I'm hoping for exciting things. I have no idea what's on this one. That's not a good start. That did the old didn't happen. I've got my tape drive just in case, though, handy. Let's give it a go. Come on. There's a little bit of background noise there. Alright. Oh, a classic. One that turns up quite frequently for the Spectrum. M1 loading. Oh, Barbarian. M1. I can't remember what that is. It's M1 when you get a multi-face copy of it. I'm sure there's different things that make things different working differently. I might be completely wrong here. People will explain in the comments below. Or is this the different Barbarian? Because there was two big Barbarians in the sense of aren't all Barbarians big? I think of Conan here, but two big Barbarians went back in the day that I remember anyway. There was one that I remember from the Commodore Amiga by Psygnosis, which is really, really impressive. It's kind of walk along the levels, more of a platforming Barbarian game. Beautiful cover, stunning cover, but everything by Psygnosis had a beautiful cover, if you remember. And then there was the Palace version of it, which is the one that's the most usual one there, which was an absolutely fantastic one-on-one beat 'em up. Do you know what? It almost, I hate to say this, but it kind of, I don't think it came out at the same time. It kind of though was a forerunner of some of the weapons-based sort of one-on-one beat 'em ups. If you ask me, it really did, because it had that level of brutality, didn't it? The sort of hacking the heads off people. Especially that was my favourite move. Everybody loved that one. Where you jumped out of the level, spun around, and you hacked their head off in the first move you could do. That sort of insta kill. Loved those insta kills. Those are really one of my favourite things. Later in life, there was a game on the PlayStation 1, a game that I really need to get for my collection, but it's one on the list, but it's expensive, so I need to sort of find it. Bushido Blade was very similar. That had a one-hit kill system, and I quite liked the one-hit kill system. It played for some very short matches where, if somebody swung too fast and then chopped them, but it also there was a level of kind of pausing and waiting for that move, and Barbarian sort of had some of that sort of level of, because there was that one-hit kill there, you had to be reasonably careful with what you were doing when you were sort of throwing moves and bits and pieces. So it's an interesting one. But if this is the Psygnosis version, I don't know if that actually appeared on the Spectrum. I think it did. I remember it on the Amiga anyway. I certainly remember it when I had an Amiga. It was a game that I tried on there. I've got coffee. I hope you have too, by the way. This is a 90-minute tape. As I say, I'll make a decision after we get through the first side. Hopefully, it might be a two-parter. It might be a single-parter. But we'll see. We'll see as we go on. It's all done, as you know, very raw. It's all what pours out of my head at any one time. So, quick cups of the coffee. Oh, coffee. So, it's been 2 weeks. What have you been up to? I've been not doing an awful lot, actually, taking it kind of easy. The last week I probably only did... I've been back in my Euro Truck Simulator. I've been doing a bit of that. I've been enjoying that, actually, to be honest with you. A little bit of truck driving doesn't hurt anybody, apart from when you go the wrong direction. So, just like this, but trucks instead. So the graphics are slightly better. So if you like to listen to me sort of droning on and on about things... have a look at Euro Truck Simulator. It's a very similar sort of thing. Done a bit of that. Did a few Spectrum sort of records. I've put a few that were sort of past ones on there. So Mr. Windo was kind of a few months ago, probably the beginning of the year. Funnily enough, it's like I've got a few as a backup. So if I don't feel in the mood, I can kind of do it. So I've started building on that library again recently when I've been sort of taking some time off. But last week the combi boiler. Developed a leak again after 12 years of being in there. We spent a couple of what was it, 800 quid on the silly thing 2 years ago, which we wouldn't have done if the plumber had actually been sensible and said at the time that we should just replace the blooming thing. So yeah, it was very expensive a couple of years ago. So when they started leaking again, the options were pretty much, new boiler or whatever else. It's different plumber last time round as well. We've had the same plumber for about 20 years, and he's always been very fair. And this particular time he was on holiday, so he suggested somebody else who came back with. Oh, it is Barbarian, the one I'm thinking of. But he came back with this sort of, install thing, so that was expensive. So and because my wife is very much wanting to move the kitchen around and a few other things, it's kind of... That's very weird that it's done that on top of the screen. Kind of corrupted itself, hasn't it? It's loaded and it's corrupted itself. That's weird. So I just want to move the kitchen into it, knock through into our utility rooms outside, which has all the bits and pieces in it. So like the washing machine and the dryer. She's had it moved, so it's cost a fortune. Oh, my wallet hurts. Anyway, let's carry on without a wallet hurting. I hope your 2 weeks away from what's on the tape weren't as bad as that. But anyway, let's go for it. So we're going to go for 3 keyboard. I think we get to define the keys here. Yes, we do. Fire, up, down, left, right. I use H for pause, and I'm going to use G for quit. So, unfortunately, the screen is now sort of kind of corrupted, if that makes sense. It shouldn't be like that. That's for certain. So we're a little barbarian, one-on-one fighter, and if we do that right, I was trying to do the move for it. I was trying to do the chop move for him. You basically push the directions with the fire button, and it kind of creates various moves. Oh, he's giving me hell here. There's a little health bar somewhere, but you can't see it because it's corrupted on the screen. I don't understand why it's corrupted, actually. No, I chopped him in the leg. There we go. They're on the top of the screen. They're little circles. I've got none left. That's why I couldn't see it. I'm literally one hit away from dying. There we go. Kicks me over. I'm dead. I'm out of it, and that little dude comes along, pushes him along. Anyway, basically, it's a typical 80s scenario. Princess been captured by a wicked wizard. The barbarian is on a mission to save her. I don't know how many more fights there's involved in it, but these are sort of the wizard's bad guys, if you know what I mean. So these are the chaps he's kind of employed to do the job of as a headbutt. I don't want to do that. I want to get him with that. That's the move I'm doing. Try to perform on him is the head chopping move, which is going to whack his head off. And I love whacking their heads off because it's an insta death. So it's just instantaneously happens. Or straight away we got death, destruction, and can't chop him in the leg. I've been playing some old beat 'em ups recently, or older beat 'em ups. I've been back into Virtua Fighter, which is a really weird one, and I didn't realise, and it kind of annoys me because I don't have a Dreamcast. But it seems Virtua Fighter 3 only came out on only console it ever came out on was the Dreamcast, which is a shame because I kind of like it. So I've got it on Sega Saturn, and I don't have a Dreamcast because I don't need another Sega product, or maybe I do, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't need another Sega console, but it kind of annoys me that. So I was looking for the arcade version, because that's of course the only other place it actually appeared was the arcade. I'm gonna get you here, you know. You're going to die. I'm gonna chop your head off, and you're gonna die. I'll need a nice slice. Oh, he's better than I thought he was gonna be today. It's been very good. I'm literally one hit away again from dying. Oh, come on. I'm down again. What lovely animations, though, and how smooth does this run? It's a beautiful little game, apart from the obviously corrupted graphics at the top of the screen. It's a lovely game. I always think this one's worth playing, especially if it like 1-on-1 beat 'em. So, to be fair, there's very few games that I don't like. I think I just love them too much to kind of overhead. I'm trying to get you with a. Oh, that was a chop to his neck, but it wasn't enough. Oh, come on! Need that slice on the top of his head, and we'll take his head off. I really want to do the headshot. Somebody's turned up the AI to max. It's probably just following a pattern, though, thinking about it, because I mean this is a 48K Spectrum, and it's set up as, and it's interesting that it's doing that. Do you remember when we did that thing before we kind of quit? That was the way you go into 128K basic, and then you type in the word Spectrum, and it goes back to sort of 48K basic, but with certain whiz bangs apparently that'll solve some problems. I don't know if that was in the manual. I wonder if that was in the manual. There's his head! We've got it! We've done it! Clear off! And he kicks it across the screen. It was well worth it just for that. Waiting the time there. And we're in the forest. And I think we end up fighting in the wizard's lair later. So that's where we end up. There we go. Got a chop on that. I'm trying just for the headshots here. Well, I've got him right in this his mask. His sort of helmet. His Doom helmet. I don't think it's a Doom helmet, by the way. Oh, another chop to the head. I really want his head off, don't I? I love that this thing exists in it. You know, the whole spinning thing. When I first saw this, I was so amazed. And to be fair, I don't think I had an original copy. It was one of our special ones that we had when we were kids. You know, the ones just like this one. And we were just so delighted when we discovered we could hack each other's heads off, and it just became a spinning match all the time and try to chop each other's head off just for fun. I'm being rubbish here. I'm just literally just trying to knock his head off. No, I'm gonna die here. Oh no! Can you imagine if I managed to kill him there with the one last sort of head shot as such? Oh, it's a shame. I like the way it's got a little target in the middle. What great graphics, though, for the Spectrum. It really is. It's a good game, that one. Really, really. It works so well because the simplicity of the environment, I think, really helps for the Spectrum. It's one of those things. Single screen thing. I've often said this, haven't I? Single screen things. What a good start. A game that regularly appears. That and Ghostbusters. That and Trashman, as it was commented by Meth Productions, who follows quite frequently the channel. And he said Trashman appears quite a lot. So does Hunchback. It's another one that appears quite frequently. There are some real favourites amongst them, and he was suggesting I should do a tally of it. I should actually at some point. We should do a tally for the number of times that certain things appear, especially sort of the Trashmans and the likes. Right, there's a little bit of background noise on that. It's humming away there to itself. Okay. Bit of coffee. Now it's funny. Bit of noise. Nothing going on. Sounds like something loading there, but it's not. I'm going to fast forward a bit because that was an empty space. This may be a very short tape. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. No, I'm only kidding. I would have thought there'd have been some Dizzy on here because Mr. B sent it. There's no Dizzy on here. There's like a beeping going on. Can you hear that? That's weird. All right, we've got a bit of Barbarian. There's Spectrum noises. Let's rewind it a bit. See if we can. Aha! No, a little bit further. See if we can get a starting noise. There's a big gap, wasn't there? Doesn't bode well. Okay. Yes! Barbarian 1. Ah, right, okay. So this could be. Oh, this is definitely. I'm sure that, and you'll know that you can tell me in the comments below. But I'm sure that the multiface allows you to copy games, and this is one of the things that you could do with it. And this, I'm sure this M1 is representative of this multiface style loading. I think. Put me correct me, because to be fair, I didn't have a multi-face back in the day. I had just the old tape to tape. Those special things, the old ghetto blaster. Actually, to be fair, if I remember rightly, here's a sort of interesting tie-up. Realistically, I'm quite convinced. Actually, we turned it down. So basically, we were, back in the 80s, everybody had a stereo system that was like a combined thing instead of multiple different parts. So like a tape cassette player and recorder. You had like these combined things. Amstrad was kind of the master of that. It's one of the kind of things they made the most money on. They had the sort of record player on top, and you had the radio cassette player and the graphic equalizers. Because hey, everybody needed graphic equalizers back then. Most of us didn't know what it meant, but hey, they were there. And then you had a double tape cassette in the bottom, and that was how it kind of laid out. So record player, radio, graphic equalizer, or maybe radio, graphic equalizer, tape deck, and then a little switch, usually to switch between whichever mode you particularly wanted on it. And the interesting thing is, I remember we went to Dixon's and we looked at various ones. We listened to the sound, and we didn't choose the Amstrad brand. We went with that all famous Dixon's brand Matsui. Do you remember Matsui? But you had Matsui, and that was where I used to copy my games. See there, I told you it was a tentative link, realistically, to the Amstrads, Sinclair, and all that kind of stuff. Sort of, maybe. So yeah, that's the tentative link. So I did use the key later, which is sort of appeared, I think, in the last episode of What's on the Tape before I went on my 2-week sabbatical, my break from it. That the key was also a good way of doing it. However, to be fair, you were limited by memory size there, because the key loaded into memory. You then loaded the game into the key. When the game had finished loading, because the key knew by loading it what was the actual data, which was the screens and all this kind of stuff. Because there was no loading screen, a bit like this one, where this is like the M1 loading. It's not a motorway. we did have the car journey, actually, and I haven't done my pickups for last month, let alone this month coming. But I did actually find a copy of the game, which was called Car Journey anyway. But yes, the key would create a loader a bit like this with very little on it, just loading the game. It was the first time. It was how I managed to get a special version of Manic Miner. I think it came from a special version. And then I made another special version of it, and it was a really solid version, because when you recorded it back to your own tape player, it was spot on every time, because it was your tape player that had recorded it. There was no issues of quality sound or whatever else it is. It always blooming worked. So that was a great way of doing it, to be honest with you. So I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to go with Barbarian 1, and I think this is the version I was talking about. You know, I was talking about there being two sort of distinct versions. This could be the Psygnosis version of the whole thing. The Psygnosis, to be fair, they did translate quite a few games, and I was even surprised. To be fair, I've never played the Lemmings version on the Spectrum, I don't think, but they did that one, and that was a big sell. Do you know what? That was the Angry Birds of the day. Everybody had Lemmings, didn't they? Everybody played Lemmings. Everybody liked Lemmings. It was a really good game. It's just a shame it kind of disappeared in time, like a lot of other things. I don't think I've seen a Lemmings game in ages, to be honest with you, and it's probably didn't. I tell you who owns it. Sony, I think, bought Psygnosis. I think that was their ultimate sort of end up being it. So Psygnosis responsible for the Colony Wars saga, which was fantastic on the PlayStation 1, and a number of other really, really good things. And all these IPs are actually under the Sony brand. I think they're buried with them, which is a bit of a shame, actually. Oh. Barbarian 1. And it's going to corrupt it again. I hope this tape isn't full of barbarians. Do you remember when we had that one where it was full of Ghostbusters? That was just hilarious. We had an entire episode. It's like one player version of it. It's like a hacked version, maybe. I don't know. That's so weird. So let's do the... I'm just going to see if it's different in any way. I don't think it is. We have lots of those. So, and G. And then 0 to play. We'll see if it's different. There we go. We're in a different part of the level. Interesting. I don't know why that matters. But there's the evil wizard. Was there two different distinct versions of Barbarian? I didn't know there was. So this is definitely... I'm definitely thinking this is this multi-face sort of loader of it. Oh, right in the face. He just ducked, I think, just as I was about to chop him down. I like the way he can roll to the legs. Head off. There we go. And hopefully we'll see a second stage. Oh, we didn't... to be fair, it even bounced... His head bounced past the little goblin that takes him off. There you go. There's our princess up the top there. Oh, I missed him just. I could have... do you know what? He was ready. Let's tell you what, this is an easier version, it seems so far. He says. And then, if we jump, he might go underneath us. Oh, no, he's not going to go underneath us. Yeah, it's a different level here we got. I think you must move to the... maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's two versions of Barbarian. One's like where you're fighting in the forests and, you know, prior to the princess's capture by the evil wizard, whatever he's called there. Drax, I think he is, actually. I'm sure it's Drac, or Drax. They're all called Drax, by the way. All evil wizards. If you meet somebody called Drax, he's an evil wizard. It's without a doubt. And it's probably true to say that if you meet anybody called Conan, they're probably a barbarian. Not sure about Red Sonjas, though. There we go. We're giving him a bit of a wallop in here. It's weird, this. We've got two versions of Barbarian on here. I mean, Dave plays Retrogames badly. Birdsall. He didn't actually know what was on this. It was just it was chucked in with a bundle of bits and pieces that he sent me, including a sort of a copy of Valhalla and Academy, which would look great, actually, to be honest with you. I like the box for Valhalla. Right? It's a bit worn, but it looks lovely. I do like it. You know, sort of the Viking helmet on the front of it. It's kind of cool. Oh. He's trying to get me. I'm almost dead here. I'm trying to take his head off now. It's not happening. Right, okay, let's do a reset again. Let's see what else is on here. Well, it's a good and bad start. We've actually had it working for 2 games. If this says Barbarian 2 after this, though, I'm going to be quite disappointed, but we're going to give it a go. So I'll load dit again. Load speech mark. That's what I used to call it as a kid. I didn't know it was speech marks, so I used to call it dit, you know. So kind of made sense though, didn't it? Also used to say when they used to come up with the question mark that used to come up, you know, when you get an error in your program, you've basically you've got your Sinclair user. I had a Sinclair user. I had this manual with all these games that you could write into it, and it just literally fell apart. The spine split on all the glue split on it, and because I used to use it so often and write the game, so there was that one where you made it where you came down the roads where the blocks moved left and right, and you kind of winded down the road, and it was kind of random, but they only shifted like left and right a little bit, and you went down the road, and occasionally you dropped boulders in the way, and there was that one. I loved that game. I used to edit that sometimes to make it slightly different, you know, make like a little dragon at the bottom that was flying up the screen, but. That kind of fell apart, but when you were doing that and you got the program wrong that was in there, they were quite often typed out wrong, to be honest with you. I can't imagine that. It must have been a real pain, you know, sort of proper word processing and whatever else it is. Those must have been an absolute nightmare to sort of type out and typeset and whatever else. So they used to get them wrong occasionally, and you used to run the program and then get a little flashing question mark, and I used to go, well, that was Durr. Computer says Durr. So there we go. We didn't know what it was doing. It's a bit silent now. It's very silent, in fact. We're a quarter of the way through the tape and we've got silence. Let's fast forward a little bit. It's not a good sign. Maybe side B. Oh, hang on. Rewind. We've got something there. We have sound. Oh, yeah. What we got? Glass. Oh, great. Oh, so we... Doesn't say the words. There you go. Multiface 1 loading. Brilliant. I knew it was something like that. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I don't know how they work, though. I guess they must have stored it in... Did they have a little bit extra RAM? Well, that's not good. Stopped already. Break. Let's have a little list of that while we're at it. Oh, invalid colour. That's not good. Let's do new then. Let's rewind that a bit. We'll give that another try and we'll see if we can load it. Load it. See, Multiface 1, never had one, don't know how they worked. I'm going to assume they had a little bit extra memory so that they could take a snapshot and then save it to tape. I guess that's how they worked. I'm not sure what the purpose of them was beyond that. I think they also probably had a joystick port in them and a few other bits and pieces. Did they have a ROM cartridge? Don't know. There's a weird background noise in there. It's almost like the previous owner of this tape had a Commodore with the sort of noise that's there. Zzz noise. Because the Commodore loader is more of a... it's more sort of split into chunks, if that makes sense. And it's like... that sounds like an ambulance or something similar, though. But if you're a Commodore owner, you'll know what I mean, exactly what I mean. That kind of... It's kind of a two subtones, if that makes sense. It's like one tone with sort of data in, and then a higher tone with the data in, and then a lower tone again. Yeah, you'll know exactly what I mean. Well, that's not good. Can't find where it was at. Where was that bit of tape there? We just had it a moment ago. Let's rewind that again. That's not going very well. Forward ho then, because I couldn't find it. Multiface glass. I can't think of what that would be. Going forward, fast forward here a few times. Can't think what that could be. May have to get PlayZX out on the old phone and have a little look and see if I can find anything that's relative to it. Definitely specky noises there, but we seem to have lost the loader. I'm going back. It seems wrong not to try it. Now, would a Multiface been on a 48k spectrum or a 128k spectrum? Because if it's a 128k spectrum, that's probably why it didn't load there. Because I think it takes a snapshot of the memory, doesn't it? It doesn't think it takes a snapshot of anything else, so it's kind of an odd one that way. There we go. There's space again. There. Okay, go. Glass. There we go. Found it. The one thing I hate about the +2 key machines is there's no tape counter. And tape counters are just a fantastic thing that was on pretty much every tape. But I can't seem to find it. Nah, see, there's a stop in the data there. Listen. I'm just going to let you listen to the stop. And there's a break. So that's actually not going to load. That's not going to load. There's a break in the data there. Something else is there. So let's just fast forward and we'll see what else is on here. I can't remember what I was talking about. Remind me. I think it was multi-faces, wasn't it? And what we were doing with those. Oh, and the tape counter on the +2. Why no tape counter? I know it's just to keep the cost down, realistically. I mean, Amstrad had already, Alan Sugar had already made the decision, basically, that the Spectrum was like a cheap computer that you could get, blah, 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 and, it was going to be a cheap bits, sort of cheap thing, so cut down the costs massively. You know, that's why he changed the board to the plus 2A, you know, and the to plus 2B. It was kind of it was all a cost-cutting exercise at the end of the day. And in all fairness to him, that's the way that you should work when it comes to actually with things. You've got to slim them down. You've got to bring the cost down. It's exactly what they do with consoles nowadays. You know, modern day consoles, they get various versions and iterations along the way, which reduce chip count and reduce the various number of other things. So it kind of brings the cost down for them, while still being able to sell it. There's data there, but nothing to begin with. That's a loading screen. If we're lucky, we'll find something else on here, but we're now halfway through the tape, and we're not doing too well. It's obviously one of the tapes they used repeatedly to record over. There's another loady bit. Let's go back a bit, see if we can find anything there. That's a screen, I think. We're going over the top of there. Yeah, that's part of something else. Let's keep going. We're just having a little bit of a lull. It's probably the time that you need to get yourself a cup of coffee. Okay, we've got space now. Got a bit of air. There's an air gap. Oh, here we go. Okay, brace yourself. Ah. Oh, that's not happy. Let's just go back a bit there. Let's do it again. Oh, fingers crossed. I have got on standby the other tape recorder and the adapter, so I can pile it in there, so we can turn up the volume. Renegade. Oh, great. That's good. That's a good choice. We always like Renegade. And again, it's another multi-face one loader. So we'll see if it loads. We'll give it a try. I do like Renegade though. It's a couple of weeks ago. It'll be about a month now. It appeared in one of. This is another game that appears quite regularly, by the way, on What's on the Tape. We had What's on the Tape, and we had Renegade appeared. I should have put it on the 128k version for this, to be honest with you, but we'll go with this because I'm going to assume 48k, but. It loaded and it was really slow. It was kind of like fighting underwater, and that's not normally how the Spectrum version is. The Spectrum version is really, really quick. In fact, I actually rank it higher than the arcade version. That's how damn good the Spectrum version was. And in fact, I'm not the only one. Many people, including the chap who sent me this, the lovely chap who sent me this, rated as sort of probably his top Spectrum game. I mean, it's maybe not my top Spectrum game because there's so many good ones, and it's just, if there's a beat 'em up, it's in there, you know. For me, the Spectrum only has really two fantastic beat 'em ups, and that's Renegade, Target Renegade, part cut from the same jib, if you know what I mean. Same make of people, same game, brilliant stuff. Just let's forget Renegade 3 though. That was naff. But the Renegade as a single player beat 'em up, based on the arcades, fantastic. Target Renegade, the second one. Oh, somebody took the idea and ran with it, and there was no second arcade version of Renegade. There was just Target Renegade on the Spectrum and Commodore and Amstrad, and it's just it's a phenomenal game. But as I say, like a month or so ago, it was running like it was underwater. I'm not sure why that was. I think maybe I didn't reset the Spectrum enough, or it was on too long, or something similar. It got a bit warm, maybe a bit melty on the inside, because they are old. I mean, these bits of kit are 40 plus years old in some cases. So I wondered whether that was the reason for it. So we basically it didn't play very well, so it looked really crap, unfortunately. So but this time I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this works beautifully. It's nice to see this because we are about halfway through the tape, which is a good situation to be in. About halfway through the tape, and we've had Barbarian twice. We've got something called Glass. And I'm going to get PlayZX out here, and I'll see if there's a name that comes straight up when you type the word Glass, because that would be interesting to know. However, to be fair, this person's got heavy hitters, so they're liking their beat 'em ups. And I'm not sure that anything other than a beat 'em up would be on this, if that makes sense. So let's have a little look and see what we've got. So we put in PlayZX and see whether or not anything particular comes up, if I can find it on my blooming phone. I'm going to type it in now because I can't find it. There we go. PlayZX. Couldn't see it for looking at it. Let's have a little search of this thing and we'll see whether or not anything exciting comes up. So search the word glass and see what comes up. Glass. Glass by Bug Bite, Quicksilver, or Glass Design. Bug Bite Glass. I wonder what that is. Re-release. So it's originally a Quicksilver game by the looks of things. It was re-release by Bug Bite. Not a game I've heard of, to be honest with you, on the Spectrum. Not one. Have you heard of Glass? Have you played Glass? I'm gonna do a quick search for it. I'm gonna do ZX Spectrum Glass in here. Yes, I am. My phone saying, no, you're not. There we go. Oh look, that's coming on nicely over there. And Glass. Glasses. No, not glasses. Phone's being ridiculous. Glass. Oh, there's the screen loaded for it. So it's a memory load. Oh, it looks quite interesting, actually. If that's the one that is. Just looking at it here. Quicksilver Glass. By Paul Hargreaves. Oh, that does look interesting. That's maybe one to look at in the future. Definitely. I tell you what, though, I think that the reason I'm getting the corruption on the screen here is either it's a plus 2A issue with the configuration of the chips and the board itself, or the reason I'm getting the corruption on the top of the screen is that these are 128K versions that I'm loading. Maybe. I don't know. Push a key. 5 to define the keys. It's weird, though, that it does appear. Unfortunately, it makes certain games look bad. Right, down, up. Hit. H to pause. Right, let's play. See if it's better this time round. No, it's still a little bit like underwater. Maybe my Spectrum's looking a bit rough. Yeah, it's a little bit underwater on my Spectrum. I don't know what's going on with it at the moment. Yeah, it's a little bit slow again. Don't know why it's so slow. But basically, you have to beat up the level to get through to. Do you have to say? Is it saving girlfriend or is it beating up the boss? I think it's beating up the big boss. So if we do this right, I can knock him off the edge and get some points, and not get knocked off myself. And that gets rid of him. Instant death for him. But at the time, it was. And in fact, I still hold with my original statement. This is a better version than the arcade. Okay, maybe not when it's running underwater. I'm going to swap the Spectrum, actually. I think the Spectrum may need some TLC, some actual proper TLC. This particular Spectrum. Boom. All right. So that's the boss kind of character. You have to beat the boss to get out of the level to the next side of it. He's kind of harder to knock down. Oh, it's got me. And my health goes and it starts the whole level again. It's quite tough actually doing that to you. There's the boss guy. Hate them. Oh, he's pushed me off. You can get them when they're on the floor, you see. You can actually punch them on the floor. Yeah, this is going particularly slowly. I don't know why. It's a bit, as I say, it's actually not helpful. It's actually bad when it's going slowly. You'd think it would actually be helpful, but it's not. It really isn't. It's like, do you remember those joysticks that had the auto sort of? Later there was this thing that was like a swathe of joysticks that had an additional button that or an auto pause on things like the Mega Drive and the SNES and even the Master System and the early things like that. And what he did is just press the pause button really quickly, and that was like your slow down. It was just absolutely rubbish, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's actually hung. That's really bad. I am going to do something I don't normally do in this. I've gone on the Spectrum. I'm going to swap the Spectrum at this point in time. I'm going to swap that take that tape out, and I'm going to swap the Spectrum. We're going to turn that off, and we're going to swap it. So, power it off. Hang on a second. You just stay there. Right. You stay there. I'm going to swap Spectrums. So, that Spectrum's coming out, because it doesn't seem very happy. We did that last week, didn't we? Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did that on the Spectrum. I've got a spare. Hang on. Are you still there? Stay there. I'm coming back, running all the way. Here we go. Hello. Are you still there? Let me plug some cables in. Not meant to be doing this. It's kind of like it's like ad hoc on the move, sort of cabling and whatever else it is. The next thing that'll happen is the screen will go off on my computer. There we go. Right. Okay. So let's get that power supply in there. Let's get that in there. Blah 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 blah. We're going for it. Oh, ad hoc sort of reconstruction of the spectrum while we're at it. Ta-da! Specky on again! Hurrah! Oh, is that making funny noises? Is that the cable? Oh. Yeah, well, fair enough. Right, it's on anyway. We've got a spectrum. We're powered up and ready to go. Right, tape in. Let's go for it. Right, so back down, loaded it. Except the key's not working. Keyboard's not working. Try that again. Keyboard's not working. There we go. Oh no! Come on, Specky. And the keyboard's not working. I'm not having a good time here. That's not good. Definitely needs a bit of TLC that some of my Spectrums do. This is not good. This is not good at all. We'll have to go back to the other one. At least it's working. At least it was running. So, that's not good. I wonder what's happened to that. It hasn't taken a knock. It's just been in a cupboard. Not for very long either, if I wouldn't mind saying. So, right, okay. Plug this back on again. We'll go from this one. Oh, wow. What's on the tape? What's on the Spectrum? Is it working? No. Is it moving? No. Is it all broken? Yeah. There we go. Back to the other one that loads and runs, well, that works slowly. Right, okay, let's go load it on this one. Here we go. I'll have to have a look at that one now. See what's going on inside it. Right, let's go. Let's see what else is after the Renegade that we just had there. That was going a bit slowly. We'll give it a whirl. Wasn't very good, was it? I wonder what was wrong with it. Bit weird. I don't think they get. Maybe it's a membrane. Maybe the membrane's had it in it. I'll have to power that up later. After this, I'll be putting that on. Oh. Sorry, coffee break. Oh. God, I love coffee. That's amazing. Oh. There was a one there, but it wasn't working. Let's give it another try. See if it'll do it. I often think that some of the issues here come from the fact that these been sitting around so long, these tapes. Oh, Mask 2. Fair enough. Mask 2. Now that's a game that I picked up this month. This is weird. This is like the games that I picked up. Some of these, isn't it? Mask 2. Now Mask was a cartoon in the 80s, early 90s, I think. I don't remember it. I don't remember watching it. I quite liked it. I liked the Mask idea of it because they were like cars and vehicles that could change into other things or fully loaded sort of battle vehicles. So they would look like for instance, one of my favourites, bizarrely, was this Formula 1 car that kind of split into 3 motorcycles. There was like a central bit and something else, and I kind of liked that one actually. I really did like that game. It was a weird one, but I did like it. So yeah, it Mask 2. Also, the other thing about Mask 2 is I won a copy. I was a runner-up in one of the competitions, which was like Mask sort of toys and other things and bits and pieces. I can't remember what the main prize was. I'm sure it's it's either Your Sinclair or Sinclair User where my name features. And I can't remember what the prize was. I remember looking it up the other day as well, funnily enough, which is even worse. But I actually won this copy of Mask 2. I was very, very pleased with that. I won quite a lot of stuff actually. If I'm absolutely honest, I went back in the day. I won quite a lot of competitions. Well, not won, but I kind of came in runners up quite frequently. I missed that. Do you remember when you used to enter competitions like that as a kid? You know, you'd get your favourite magazines and you'd enter all the competitions. Nowadays, like, I guess millions of people enter them. I mean, there's a good percentile of people win stuff from doing competitions for a living, but it's just a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Back in the day, we used to enter all kinds of things, and I used to enter quite a lot of. If they were in the magazine, I'd picked it up and I'd bought a copy of Crash or I bought your Sinclair or Sinclair User. I used to enter the competitions, almost every single one of them. You know, fill in the name, put in the form, blah blah blah, send it off, see if you win. And I did win a few times. I won enough times that I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised. I had an accolade. I remember this from. I don't think it was a Mega Drive thing. I think it was something else, but it was definitely a Star Control related prize. I'm sure Star Control appeared on the Spectrum as well, actually. It was a game that I quite liked. It was sort of top-down, sort of, not quite asteroids, because you moved around the whole sort of level, shooting each other, whatever else it was. And I remember winning that. I won a lovely sort of day-glow, different colours, fluorescent T-shirt which said Ballistics on it, which was their Mega Drive division, because they basically got taken to court by Sega. Sega took them to court because they managed to make a clone cartridge that would work in Sega's a Mega Drive, and Sega took them to court and said, you can't do that, you must pay for a license from us to produce software on our devices. And they said, no, we don't. We want to do it. We don't want to pay for that, and we don't want to pay for whatever else is. And I think it was settled out of court, or did they win? I think they won, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure they won. And they could continue to recreate these cartridges. I think, though, they did come to some kind of arrangement with Sega, just to avoid any further court action, but I don't think they paid the full licensing fee that was required to it, so they could get onto it. But I had this T-shirt that had the Ballistics logo on it. I remember that. And I remember getting a copy of Mask, and there was a few other things as well. I can't remember them all, to be honest with you, but there was quite a. Those are the ones that stick out in my mind, and stick out in my mind because I quite like the cars and the trucks and all the other bits and pieces around Mask too. It's kind of cool. We're loading away. See, I don't know what's going on with Spectrum. I'm not sure about the other one though. I'm not happy about that. The keyboard not working on there. Wasn't long before. Oh, stop tape. Has this got loading? I think it does. Yes. Right. So, one for keyboard. There's the music. Right. We've got to push a key on here. Somebody's pushed the door to in my room and now it's banging because the windows are open. There's a button to move around. I know there is. Because you have to kind of choose your team. I'm sure there's a button. One for keyboard. Yep. Pressing it. Pressing the keyboard. I'm gonna have to close that. Open that door again because whoever's opened that before. So that is working for that element of it. Symbol shift, cap shift. Oh, here we go. We're all pushing all the buttons again. Zero. Of course it's 0. Alert! Venom are building a new base in the Middle East to coordinate their plans to control the oil resources. Your mission is to destroy it. Cool. I'm up for that. Allow me to destroy your mission, your base. There we go. So that's moving up and down. There's up and down. There we go. Got it already. So we got the keys already. That's excellent. Right. What we got to do? So we've got to choose our team members. So you float over them to choose who you want. So this guy's Powder Keg. Vehicle Gator. See? We got Chad Turner, age 22, Vehicle Condor. See, it's cool, isn't it? Alex Sector, codename Megabyte. Jack Rabbit rides the Rhino. The Rhino's the big truck, actually, if I remember rightly. So we're going to have Rhino Driver. And we got Bruce Santo, ATV. Rhino ATV. No, I don't want that. Thunderhawk. Oh, it's got to be Thunderhawk. Matt Tracker. It's brilliant, isn't it? 28. Codename Hunter. Don't think there's anybody else around here, so we'll have him. We're going to go Powder Keg. Or are we going to go with Chopper? Codename Chopper Condor. Let's go with him. So what's this? think we just load now. Oh, I've reset my team. Damns. Right, let's have Rhino. Let's have him again. Thunderhawk, and let's have Condor.
Start the tape.
I am starting the tape. So this is going to be all mask on here, I would think, for the rest of the tape. There's enough tape left. There's a third of the tape left, so it's probably going to be mask. Okay. Yes, loading. No, it's not. Ah! Typical. That wasn't. I don't think that was it. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't think that was mask. Let's do a reset on Spectrum. I don't know why I did that. I don't think that was mask. Ah, damn you.
Typical.
I rewound that a little bit there
because I'm not sure that was mask because of the way it was loading there. I'm not sure that they
copied all the loader. I think this is just another game. Yeah, see, that's what I said. Ah! Anyway, it's a game where you scroll along, shooting things as you go along. I'm not gonna load it afterwards, but if you've seen Mask, it's kind of cool. Anyway, I get to say the words Thunderhawk repeatedly, so it's kind of cool, isn't it? This could be, and this is either going to be the Visions version of snooker, or it's going to be the Steve Davis snooker. But however, I would have thought it would say the word Davis after it, to be honest with you, rather than not Steve Davis, if that makes. I don't know what that means, but yeah, Steve Davis. And God, what a snooker player! He was a good snooker player, if I remember rightly, from all I remember. Just remember that he was always remembered for being incredibly boring. However, you know that he finished his playing snooker, and the first thing he went off to do was play poker, which was one of his other hobbies as such, or one of his sort of passions, and then won £1 million in a competition. Because he was actually, I mean, how can you read a man that boring? So I guess that was, I guess for him it's kind of like he did well in snooker, didn't he? Was he a champion? Probably. And then he went off and played poker, and he was really good at it. Does not surprise me in the slightest, actually. When I heard that, I was like, oh well, yep, Steve Davis, most unexciting man that we've ever met. He probably was an exciting man, just behind closed doors. You know, probably had parties all the time with you know, snooker groupies. Do they have snooker groupies? Drank tea, maybe, with them. Oh dear. Oh, I'm entertaining myself now. That's fine. I knew that wasn't going to work. The moment it did that load, I could hear that difference in the tone there. It was not kind of a data load as such. It was something else. I'm a bit annoyed about that Spectrum not working now, actually. I don't know what's happened there with that. I wouldn't mind so much, but it's not actually been in. It's been in the cupboard for a little bit, but not that long. Powering up, so that's a good sign. Do membranes go on +2As? I didn't think they did. I guess you can probably buy them for them. Maybe. Don't know. Oh, coffee's good. That's the coffee gone though. I've finished the coffee. I've got some grey ones as well. I've got some production line Spectrums that I really need to look after as well. They need a little bit of a service. Ooh, I'm excited that we got German, we got English, and we got French. This is not what I was expecting. This is the Professional Snooker Simulator. Copyright 1985. Hard software. Not heard of this one. Written by the geezer, also known as Godwin Graham. Right, okay, fair enough. So, what do we do? I'm going to assume... I'm going to cursor keys? No, not cursor keys. That's our... There we go. Oh, right, that's the cue. Oh, I've managed to put the white straight away. Awesome. Foul, 4 away. Player 2. That's the cue there, look. That's a cue. That's how I hit the ball. I've only found one key so far, though. That's like hitting it. I've hit it the wrong way. Wow. Right, okay. Foul, 4 away. Right, so you position it. I'm trying to work out how to rotate that a little bit more. Rotate. Oh, wow. What have I done? I don't know what I've done. Yeah. I've never been a big snooker fan, to be honest with you. I don't mind a bit of pool, but I'm not a big snooker fan. Yeah, okay, it's pool. It's snooker. You put the reds in, then you put a colour one in, then you put reds in, you put colour one in, and then you clear up them in order after that. And there's a lot of points to be made. There's a 0.1 for that, and there's 7 points for a black, and then there's 1 point for a red, and then there's is it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, pinks being 6 and whatever else is. There's a lot of tactics involved in it. You know, if you can't make the shot, you've got to make sure that the other person can't make their shot, and this, that, and the other. And there's points for shots and all this kind of stuff. It's snooker. Not a big fan of snooker, but you know, I always found the tables very large. I think that's what it was. I could never get the power right, and I guess it took more practice than a game of pool, which is a tiny little table in comparison, you know. So, and to be fair, I'm not sure that you can be as drunk as you can be when you're playing snooker over pool. I suppose you can be drunk. I don't think I'd want to be drunk playing snooker though, 'cause it's just a big table. I think I'd be careful about sort of ripping up the felt with the cue possibly. But anyway, we're on to the next one. We are going for it. So I think, judging by this, and we'll see whether or not we get any further first. We'll see if there's anything else on here. Judging by this, I think I'm going to leave the other side for another day. So we're just going to give this. We've had a few games. We've had some things that have loaded. Not very many, but we've had a few games. We've had some funny games with the Spectrum itself. That wasn't fun, really. We're quite silent now. We've had Mask not working. We've had some snooker. We've had some Barbarian. Yeah, there was another game. We've got one more, I think, on here. We've got one more little delight. There was a little sound there. It sounded like somebody speaking. No, we haven't got any delights. Unless it's a little bit further back that I missed earlier. No. No more delight there. Let's have a little look. See if we've got one more little succulent morsel on here. Something left to eat. Just one more thing. One more. Come on. You know you want to. Just a short one. I'll take a 16k game. Something ridiculous. It's not quite there. Oh, there we go. Rewind that a little bit. I think that's the end of the last one, unfortunately. So we've got sound here. I think this might be the end of the multi-face sort of load again. What a weird tape, a mixture of multi-face loading games and clearly properly copied games. No, I think we're looking like we're at almost the end. Last chance saloon. Last option here. See, we've got something in the last few minutes of the tape. Is there something here? Is there some voices from the past? It's so quiet. It could be here. Is there something? Nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely not. There's nothing in the last bit. The last bit of the tape is empty. It is empty. We have nothing. No sound at all.
Not even a voice from the past. A whisper
From some past person.
something from the 80s. Not even a radio show.
We did have the radio shows. Did you see those ones? If you saw those episodes of What's on the Tape, you might enjoy those. We've got little radio shows in those. Well worth watching. Well worth going digging back through What's on the Tape. It's been a saga. It's been a journey. A journey for us all.
And there is the end of the tape.
And there's nothing else.
Right, I am going to leave it until next week. We're going to keep this a little shorter than the usual ones. We're not going to do a 3-hour epic today. We're going to keep that a little shorter, just so I've got some time to re-edit it and well, not edit it, but to sort of render it and get it ready for you guys so you can watch it. So I've been your host, Real Genetic Demon. Catch me next week, and we will finish this tape. We will see whether or not there's more multi-face on here. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.